Welcome to Dutchess and Her Dukes, a podcast where I interview New York City hustlers in pursuit of their dreams. I'm Dutchess, and these are my Dukes. Hi.
Hi.
You do so much, but I will start with a request to introduce yourself and tell me like one sentence what you do.
Peace, world. Thank you, Dutchess, for having me. My name's SickPhatTight. I'm a curator, filmmaker, visual artist, writer, producer, filmmaker. I said that twice. I do a little bit of everything, and I still work a regular job.
Oh, I want to hear about that. This is what I've written. You're an actor, creative director, photographer, videographer, painter, and musician, and you're part of an art collective.
I was once a part of an art collective. I've been a part of a few different movements in New York. I'll shout them out, sure. Shout out to Unruly Collective. They were very foundational in the beginning of my curation experiences as far as putting together live art performances and live art experiences. And shout out Empire State Music and Arts Festival. Shout them out, why not? You know, like they were also foundational prior to Unruly Collective, and if you don't know about them, they're a music festival group that's independent in the city. I worked with them for about 5 years in the beginning.
That's incredible. I mean, I couldn't wrap my head around it. I thought I do a lot, but that's like beyond. But if you were to define yourself, like if you had to choose one of those mediums, what would that be? Oh, and how about comedy? Don't we know Todd?
Comedy.
Don't we know Todd? That's our mutual friend. I didn't realize that.
That is literally how we met each other.
I forgot.
In a sense. And yeah, shout out to comedy. Shout out to PN and Friends. Like, there's a lot of work that's been done out there that I'm very proud of, and I'm grateful for all the people that like bring these moments together. So, if I had to take your answer and make it one, I'd still go D for all the above.
Can't help yourself, can you?
Yeah, it's it relates to one of these stories I wrote when I was younger, and it's called Path to the Heart. And it talks about this heart's path through life and having to choose between the moon and the sun and dedicating your life to one or the other because they feel like they have to compete over your interests. But a heart can naturally choose both.
That's a beautiful thing. I've never heard that before.
So you haven't heard that story yet.
I haven't.
So that's something that I used to perform for people before I started really curating. But I got a lot of positive feedback then, and I still hold it to the heart because I know that it's worth the right production value. So,
when you say you're a curator, do you mean like curator of art shows?
So I've grown into those hats as well.
Because you could be a curator of like a sex party.
So I love that, right? Because I authored this series called Sick Days, Mixed Messages, and that was my first attempts at putting together live variety shows. And so when I think back then when we heard the word variety show, it was always related to the erotic arts, which was beautiful. It's like, yeah, who doesn't love burlesque? Who doesn't love, all the other things attached to variety shows at that rate?
For sure.
But as a multi-disciplinary artist, I never saw that many variety shows bringing varying artists together. So I saw that as a strength of mine. And I wanted to present more value to a music festival group. And I was like, hey, let me book my own shows so y'all can see how good I am at booking shows.
That's amazing.
Yeah. And so, it just kept growing. And
wow.
This past summer, last July, I was able to curate my first live group show.
Oh.
So I had 10 painters and then one photographer, including myself. Then I booked about 16 artists. I probably booked 18 and probably 15 performed.
I'm not gonna lie, before I didn't do my research on you until I started preparing for this interview, and I was under the impression that like your main thing is acting. But that's probably because of the way we met across the system. Shout out to Kamal Ahmed.
Shout out to the jerky boy himself.
Yes, sir. So that's what I thought, you wear, but you're so many different things, and I'm obsessed with your art, actually. I saw one of your Instagram accounts. It's just so many. It's a little confusing.
Yeah, I'm sorry. They told me to make more so that it'd be easier, but
I don't know about that.
Yeah, I don't know either.
I genuinely don't know. It might be the case. I never know what to do either with social media management. But anyway, I saw your art is amazing. I actually want to buy some.
Yeah, you let me know. I'm sure you got some wall space. And shout out to Gemini Project, Live and Fabricated Ambiance, because they've been putting me on as a live painter more. So they're DJs in the community that do a lot of dope events, and they invite different artists to participate in that. So next Saturday, I don't remember the venue right now, but I'll make sure I can share the information.
I want to come.
Yeah, please. It's going to be dope, like 10 to 4.
That's amazing.
Yeah, I'll be directing a play before that shit, which is crazy.
Also a director?
I mean, technically, yeah, because I've directed.
Yeah, he's a filmmaker, I guess.
Yeah, so I mean, like, I don't call myself a director because no one knows me as that, right? But it's like I practice a lot of things, so it's like I'm a functional artist at all times, you know. So
you don't have one favorite. If you had to like pick one, there's no.
I think film brings me the highest joy. Like,
okay.
No matter which role I get to play, like, because it's a different kind of team sport. And as a former athlete, student athlete, like, I always cherish those memories, right? So it's like, at this point, that's the only part of art that replicates that same energy for me, where it's like everybody just wants to win. And you can see the teammates that don't like you as much versus love you to death, you know, and that's the one thing that I like about it, because discernment's real. And it's like, if we're going to do good business together, it's good to see it clearly early, because you can waste years of your life working with people building their egos and brands, and then it just be like no credit attached to that. So it's like, I love finding good teams, and I think that film has always like gave me that understanding that this is the peak of where you want to be in certain spaces.
That's awesome.
I was a 3-sport athlete in high school.
That's amazing.
I lettered in 3 sports. Like,
which
shout out to
sports?
my parents.
Shout out to
the parents, yeah, and my grandparents and all my aunts, the
especially
ancestors.
Grandma who's born 11/22.
Yeah, and my grandma was born in January too. You know what I'm saying? All the grandmas, I got like 5 of them. You know what I'm saying? I ain't even gonna get to all that, but it's like I love.
You have 5 grandmothers?
That's the science, but it's like it takes a village to raise us.
This is very true.
Shout out to my granny. Shout out to all my grandma. I'm a grandma's boy. I don't know if you ever seen that movie, but it was definitely like it was right on time. I was a high school teenager. And I was like, that was one of the first dates I ever went on. And I didn't realize it was a date because I was too much of a kid, I guess. I was like, oh, we were on a date. Wow. I was like, we with the grandma's boy. Like, that's dope. Like, I was a little stupid, I guess. But
it's very funny.
Yeah.
Where does your name come from, by the way?
SickPhatTight.
SickPhatTight.
Yeah, ooh, right. Like, it hits people so differently. Some people are like really like, oh wow, and some people are like, SickPhatTight. Yeah. It depends.
I don't even know what to think.
It's an algorithm, right? It's an algorithm of positivity, because sick.
My mind goes strange places.
Yeah, it's cool. I'll tell you a good joke eventually, but SickPhatTight is goodness times greatness to the 3rd power.
And here I am thinking fat and tight. How hot?
And, yeah, pretty hot and tempting, right? And tight. Yeah, all those things apply.
Damn.
All those things apply. All those things apply.
Wow. So what are you working on right now?
Hopefully booking more roles. I just had an audition yesterday, which felt good. I hadn't really been out there pushing myself for roles. I've been in an acting class for the last few months, so I've been doing a lot of stuff. Yeah, and that's why I'm directing a play next week, because shout out to LS Lewis Stansel Acting Studios. They produce writers, actors, directors, live theater once a month in multiple cities at this point. Like New York and Atlanta are running simultaneous events. And so like literally...
Greatest cities, Atlanta?
And then they have us going to L.A. and England, I think, in Chicago. I might be messing up the math, but shout out to Wad. I got to act in the last one last month, but this one... they'll let me direct a play that we'll all get to read for the first time that day, and I'll get to work with 2 actors I've never worked with, or maybe I have, I don't know. But yeah, we'll all be in this new experience, reading the story together, bringing it to life that day, and performing it twice. So it's a really unique challenge as an artist and a filmmaker, and I've enjoyed it as a production assistant, and I've enjoyed it as an actor, so now I get to direct in it.
Damn, that's amazing. But I noticed that I think you appeared in this show called Bishop and Cheney. Am I pronouncing it right?
Yes, shout out to Bishop and Cheney. So
is that the last show you were in? That's out?
Yeah, so that one we're waiting for season 2 to make it to Tubi. And season 2, I was honored to be invited as a writer.
That's crazy. It's like my dream.
right?
I'm a writer, you know.
And you are, right? So it's like you're always practicing for that moment. And
Wow, that's fire.
thank you. Like, shout out to the director Rasheed Hewitt, aka Millimeter Mac Films. He has been blessing me over the years. I was a reoccurring character in the series that we were spent off from. So the original series is called Juicy the Series, and that's like a female-led crime drama. And I was just like this masked character kind of shooting at people.
That's cool.
Yeah, silent killer, da-da-da-da-da. Then like a few years later, he was like, all right, we're going to do the spinoff. So I got to be a lead in the spinoff. And then season 2, he was like, yo, I know you can write a story. And so, spoiler alert, fuck it, right? Because I need more people to watch the show. I want you to get excited.
Yeah.
I wrote this story in Bishop and Cheney season 2 where I, as a cartel member, I have this niece who's a music producer.
What cartel? Is it like fake cartel?
Yeah, we call it the syndicate.
Sounds
And
real.
the coalition. So yeah, the
Coalition.
coalition. Yeah, the coalition. Yeah, like it has syndicate
That's
used in there
very
sometimes.
gangsterish.
We got feds chasing us. Yeah, we got the feds chasing us, right?
Then you're good.
And my op. So the story I write, my op pretty much has my niece assassinated, and she's a music producer.
Oh my god.
So a young rapper gets the job. He goes to the studio, records the song with her, kills her in the studio, makes a music video out of it.
Crazy. Did you write that part?
Yeah, I wrote. Yeah,
That's so cool.
Yeah. So it
It's
was
a great idea.
It was kind of, like, as a fan of hip hop, as a fan of music, as a fan of film, it was just a story that came natural to me because I'm like, you see what's going on in real time. Like, these cats are talking about eating cereal all the time. It's like, we know what that means now, like, so it's like, it's weird how we've transitioned in America, where it's like young kids, they used to want to be ballers and rappers. Now they like, I need to kill first, then learn how to rap.
I know.
So it's like
it's true.
Like, I've never, we've never seen this before. So
It's like literally murders lately of like teenagers who can't, or like children who murder someone and they can't even be prosecuted technically.
And that's
like, what the I mean,
that's where the game is really wicked, because when you study the system across the world, like Sweden is one of those countries where they're like known for peace and known for like sovereignty and all these things.
Yeah.
But because of their laws, the gangsters from around the world are like, we can market our drugs here, and we can also recruit teenage killers who don't mind going to spend 3 years in some apartment that they don't own, right? And get to go out on the weekends and shit like that, like little murderers, like, and they're getting contract. Like, granted, around the world, like, this isn't a new thing. Like, this is, like, as a historian and a sociologist, like, the warrior class is always going to live, if that makes sense. It's just uniquely presented to us now because we have social media, we have music that's integrated into the battlefield.
who's a warrior then? How would you define it? I already have an idea, and I think I actually love that analogy, but I want to hear from you. Who do you think that warrior, or like what? How would you describe the warrior?
So it is so many layers, right? Because you have warriors of light, warriors of darkness, all these kind of concepts. But we have street-sanctioned warriors, right? We have state-sanctioned warriors. So let's start there, because state-sanctioned is police, military, mercenaries, right? CIA, security guards, these kind of people, right? Those are state-sanctioned. Then you got everybody else who's like, I don't fuck with the system, right? But they're still teaching themselves on how to survive and effectively be fatal. And I'm not saying that you should be on this path, but it's a real part of human experience that it's been a part of us. Yeah. So it's like, when you don't have a gladiator arena, which we do now, like we have boxing, we have MMA, which is at the peak of its experience, which has been
like
around
Olympics,
forever.
Really, like Olympics is that kind of, right?
Yeah, and fuck the Greeks on that point, right? Like, fuck them just because, like, shout out to the continent that actually started the Olympics. You know what I'm saying?
Shout out Europe.
No, they didn't start the Olympics. That's what I'm like.
Greece, what you mean?
Who are the Greeks' grandparents? Like, you got to read books to hear what the Greeks said about their grandparents.
Who were their grandparents?
The North Africans, right? And the Carthaginians and the Phoenicians and the Egyptians, who we would call Kemetic people when they were in their own land. So like the Greeks,
History lesson.
Yeah, like like I try not to bore people with that.
No,
but
that's interesting. I mean, that makes total sense because like the first like human beings like came from Africa. Like that's where we all come from, essentially.
And a lot of like sports are still carved on stones in North Africa, Egypt, right? Like mixed martial arts and all this is written in stone first.
That's crazy.
And that's why I want to do more kung fu movies, because it's like if it was like shout out to Mixed Blood.
Okay.
That's coming out sooner than later. I don't know when, but
hope. Show.
That's a good question. I keep asking the director, like, is this?
Dubious
I'm like, director, is this being released as a feature or episodic? And he's like, it could probably be an episodic. And I'm like, I like the way you're saying that, but how long is the Frisheezy? I was like, how long is it? But that one's fun. It was the first one I ever got to do like kung fu kind of stunts. Yeah. I got my ass kicked. It was fun.
How did you know how to do it?
They tell you. We practiced before. It's like a dance, to a certain degree, but they really kick you sometimes.
Yeah, because just going back to, I don't even know how you do it because that's scary, but going back to the Warriors, the way I understand it is that it's like survival of the fittest, basically, like, and it's kind of makes me think of this podcast, like hustlers, like what do you do to get where you gotta get, right? Like you do everything you can, and those who can, they are not gonna succeed, or they're not gonna survive. Or they're not going to make it, basically.
Or they'll stress themselves out wondering why, because there's a lot of triers out there. So shout out to all the hustlers who are doing stuff. Like, anybody who's my friend, like, real friend, I asked them, like, at a certain point, I say, please don't use the T word around me.
What's the T word?
Try.
Oh.
Because it's poison. It's poison to my ears.
100%. Just do it.
Like, and it could be anything, but we all should give ourselves more credit. Because when it comes down to it, triers are pre-contemplating what they want to do.
I think that's a great statement. And just do it, I think, is one of the greatest fucking advertising slogans I've ever heard. Like, Nike really nailed it.
Shout out to Nike.
Yeah, shout
out to good
Nike.
Marketing.
Looking and for Jordan. Sponsors.
Facts, right? Yeah, product placement. I'm sure, yeah. We both got them on, too. They don't even get to see that part, but it's cool.
Oh, my God. I like your pants, by the way.
Oh, thank you, Mama. I mean, we kind of drippy. We drippy.
Yeah, very drippy. Wow, and you have like a bracelet. That's beautiful. Can everybody see it?
Shout out to Divine Cosmic 13, my good brother Marcus out there. Like when I first started off in comedy, half of that shit was just like shouting out people because I was like, yeah, I am funny. I will be funny, but I care about pointing out other people who I care about.
No, I think that's respectful and like giving credit to where credit is due. So that's great. Wait, you do stand up also? Or
I should do it more. But niggas don't book me. Like that's the crazy part. Like I told you earlier, there's some simple science for me, right? Like if I booked, let's say 50 to 70 shows in 5 years, that means I hosted probably 100 to 300 artists.
Wow.
Right? At least.
There's a lot of artists.
At least, right? Shout out to them for knowing each other at this point. And also, doing the thing that they do. But I would say a lot of artists don't invite me to perform at their stuff, which has always been a conundrum for me because it's like, damn, you never see me perform at my show because I'll always make space for you to perform there.
That sucks.
It is what it is. Like,
but okay, so you're talking about like high-end shows, I feel like, because like you can just go to a comedy like bar, cellar, whatever, and sign up and then wait.
That's not who I am. I'm too busy for that shit. Like, and I don't disrespect open mics. Like, there's a true value to open mics, but after curating so many shows, it's like, why do I need to prove myself to anybody?
Yeah, I think it's good for practice. I used to do readings, basically, of my fiction when I first came to New York, and I did it actually, was taught there, or was it somebody else's show? It was somebody else's show, I forget. But I did it last December, November, and it was nice, but I just, like, don't have the desire to do it. Like, it's good for practice, or like, oh, I'm gonna, like, edit this piece, or even these few pages I'm going to read, so it's a good motivation, but I don't do it either. I don't have. I mean, we could find a time if we wanted to, but I just don't want to.
Yeah, I imagine you need an equity reading sooner than later because I'm sure you got some stuff that you want to get on screen. Like I feel like that's what I don't know about you, but I feel like that's happening and going to happen.
I love that because I do have some plans for Dutchess Her Dukes, my novel.
I can see that.
Big things happening.
Yeah, so how did you get connected with the homie Kamal Amal?
Kamal
Ahmad. I fucked that all up.
Oh, so I do PR. That's my business, and I want to talk about your business too, but or like what you do for work. But yeah, so I do PR, and I had a client who appeared in the second season. I believe it was second season. Yeah. So
wait, the second season's out?
Yeah, it's out. The third one is now being finalized, I think. So
okay.
And so I was introduced to Kamal by my former client, and everybody, and Kamal became a client. So I did PR for the show for a few months, and it was a lot of fun.
Yeah, because I met you, and I was like, wow, she's a producer on the show. This is crazy.
I'm not a producer. I just did
keep
PR.
telling people that, though. I don't care. I'm like, she's a producer.
That's fire. No, I could be because, I mean, what's PR, right? Like, what's public relations? The way I always explain to people is this. Like, I never wanted to do it, by the way. I just kind of, like, fell into it. It's telling a story, like being able to write a good story of a client, whether it's a brand or a person or a fucking, like, you know.
Some rocks,
whatever. The product, it could be a product, websites. A brand, it could be a place, an event, right? So you're telling a story about that thing, and then you got to sell it. So you got to pitch journalists and editors. And I think part of my job is like, you know, taking money from my clients. So that's part of producing. Like I have to tell them that I'm selling air essentially, and you have to pay me good money for it. So yeah, PR is a bit like sales to me. That's like sales being pushy, which is what I think producers need to do as well. And then, also selling a story and telling an interesting story, because like let's say I wanted to do PR for you, like I would need to find an angle. Maybe that's why I kept asking like, what's your favorite like genre, what like would you want to do the most, and then you sort of like, you know, create an angle and try to tell your story in like the most like interesting yet approachable way to journalists.
Yes,
that's what it is. It's bullshit.
No,
it's
I like it. I like it.
I mean, it's not bullshit because that really helps. Like, I have a friend who usually I would tell her name, but I don't want to because of this. So she had her second book published, and her first book was like landed in the hands of like very famous actors, or like it appeared in a show. And in my mind, I'm like, that's fucking PR. That's pure PR. And I know her dad is in advertising, so I'm like, oh, that's like, there's no way a random actor like would have picked up this book. That's PR for you. You know, it's a little different than marketing. It's a little different than advertising. PR is just like getting the right people to talk about you.
That's fire, yeah. I mean, like appropriate, like placement.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
so let's say, yeah, again, going back to you, like I would probably, it would be hard for you. Actually, it would be hard because there's so many different areas. But maybe like as a I would pitch you as like a multi-disciplinary. I can't pronounce that word.
Yeah, I have a hard time with multi-disciplinarian.
Disciplinarian.
It's like Sagittarian.
I'm Polish, and sometimes these things come out. I can't pronounce shit.
That's why I just tell people artists, and they be like, oh.
Yeah, exactly.
Because when I told people I was painters, they start asking me like, oh, how much do you charge to paint a room? Right? Like they think I'm a carpenter painter. I'm like, whoa, that's racist, right? Like that's a little racist. I was like, I said I'm a painter. But
no, trust me. When I lived in London, and people would, when I told people that I'm Polish, and they would say, oh, my cleaner is Polish. Great, good for you. Like,
I feel like they be shitting on the Poles a little bit, like, cause
what am I supposed to say to that? I'm educated, but that doesn't matter. Like that's so like that. Not right. I don't know if it's racist.
It is racist,
but it's kind
technically,
of like,
right? Because y'all are different cousins, like, but different cousins.
Yeah, no, Eastern Europeans are so different too. Like Anglo-Saxons. I can't tell you. Like I talk shit about white people here all the time, because I don't find.
Because we don't always feel comfortable doing it. Thank you.
I don't feel comfortable around them. That's the thing, and like I feel more comfortable not being around people. How do I say, who are not white, I guess, because I am not from here, you know, so I feel like closer, and the white people from this, to me, that like that mentality with all due respect, like, is different.
Yeah, and that's
To
funny
mine.
because one of my good friends is moving to Russia,
Oh, wow.
and then he was
You're
like,
gonna love it.
and he's
Bitches
like,
will love him. I'm sure, I don't even know what he looks
well,
like.
I hope so. Like, you know, like I always want my friends to win. So like, yes, I feel like he's gonna do good over there. His girlfriend now might not like that, but whatever.
Oh, shit.
I'm sure they'll
Should
figure
we cut
things.
this?
No, I mean like, I want everybody to watch this. So yeah, like make it spicy, right?
Yeah, exactly,
I
exactly.
didn't say any names.
Me neither.
Yeah, I didn't say any names. So like, they have to know.
It's great. Russia sounds crazy though.
Right? Because I
Never
mean,
been,
people be shitting on Putin, and I'm like, we assassinate people too. like, and I'm like, I'm not trying to pick sides. Like, I'm an American, and I'm a Democrat for the most part, but I'm like,
Me too,
how
for
can
the
we talk
most
shit
part.
about one person and be like, he's assassinating people? I'm like, niggas, we assassinate people all the time.
Every day in the Bronx, we the Bronx. Not just the Bronx, everywhere.
Everywhere. Yeah, I'm like, we got cops that, like, I don't even have to repeat history at this point, but it's like,
No, absolutely.
like,
Wait, which borough are you from, by the way?
I live in Brooklyn. Yeah,
Hell
I'm
yeah.
in
Where
Brooklyn.
you about?
I'm in Brownsville.
Oh, nice. I like Brownsville.
Oh, Annie
I
up.
do.
And
I like that.
it's convenient right there, like the L train,
The-
A
oh,
train,
you buy the L
J
train.
train,
See, that's the
everything's
thing.
right there, and they're like it's changing over there in
It's
small
gentrifying too,
doses.
I know.
Small doses. Like I'm right in a very, I think, traditional part, but like, I shout out to my block. You know, shout out to
I'm
Pickett.
definitely coming to visit.
Word.
Is that where you're from originally?
No, I'm from North Carolina.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I've been in Brownsville for almost 3 to 4 years now.
So you came here 3-4 years ago?
No, I've been in New York a total of, this is year 13, I want to say. Yeah, I moved
When
up
did you
here.
come? 2012?
2013? I thought, I should have put a date on this tattoo because it's all about that.
Oh,
So
yeah?
this is about my
Let's lift it up.
my story that's New York, North Carolina to New York. So Hurricane Sandy happened.
Oh, yeah.
A year later, I came to Rockaway.
Oh, so you came after. So I moved to New York in 2012. That's why I keep asking.
So I moved a year after
I
you.
moved here, and 2 weeks later, Sandy hit.
Wow.
Yeah, that was
Yeah.
a good
Were you one of the people who was celebrating like, oh, it looks like it's gonna be a fun rain? Like,
Pretty much.
like,
I had no
was-
idea. I lived in Chelsea at the time. I had no idea what was
That's what
happening.
I'm saying. Like my first week in New York, they took us to a museum to see like videos and photos of the hurricane, and like the first clips they show you are people celebrating, oh, hurricane, and the next thing you know, it's just like a disaster, you know. But it was
know,
like
it was not
there was a
pretty.
hell of a wave and a lot of parties going on that day, you know, before
yeah.
the shit went bad, you know.
Yeah,
but
I know. Then the lights went out, and then all that good
so
stuff.
you were how high up were you at that point? Because Chelsea didn't get hit bad.
Yeah,
or?
it got hit, but I had a friend from college who lived on the Upper West Side, so I just stayed with them for like 2 weeks, and then I came back, and then I moved to Brooklyn, and the rest is history.
Word.
So I mean, I came back from uptown. I mean, I made it sound as though like I went really far, but yeah, like
Those
to
are
me,
two
anything,
different worlds.
To me, like anything about 14th Street is like uptown.
I like that. I like how you reduce
I'm
that.
dragging. But wait, so what do you do so you do all those things and then you also work on top of it? Like, how do you juggle it all? How do you manage?
The heart. So I work in foster care at this point. I've usually worked in social services most of my life that I've worked. So yeah, I work for a foster care agency. Shout out to Little Flowers. They probably don't need to see this, but you know, like shout out to the families we serve and the communities and the government for keeping us funded and shit like that. Like,
Wow,
they're
it's
regulating
so
us in a different way now, but you know what we do does help people get in better positions, because some parents do need to learn lessons, some children need to be in different, better homes, you know. So
Well, I have so many questions. This is fascinating. So, are there any like particular age groups that you work with, or that go through the foster home?
the whole I have a
All of it
I
until
have-
18, or what's the deal? Like, how does it work until 18?
So some children,
No, you don't really need a foster home when you're 18, I guess.
well, it depends on circumstances, because you might have chronic ailments, right?
Oh, if you're on, wow, yeah, absolutely.
So
yeah.
and then there's the children who just have that nurturing relationship. So just like the basic insurance where it's like you can be covered up to 26.
Oh, right.
That's
That's what
kind
I'm
of the
saying. Okay.
process. And most of them aren't in foster care up to that age. They're just kind of like have a special, like a set of benefits because they've been in the system. So there's different outcomes, but a lot of kids get adopted. Sometimes they end up.
That was my next question. Does it lead to adoption often, or sometimes?
Sometimes, yeah, because kids after the age of 10 get to say how they feel about things.
Okay.
The courts will honor how they feel about their parents, about whatever. So
This is incredible that you do that. Like, I had a lot of respect for you already, but now it's like through the roof.
I appreciate
It's
you.
amazing.
Yeah, thank you. Like my mom made sure I got an education. Shout out to her. And I always wanted to help people. I didn't have any idea of what I'd become in life. I just always would tell people I wanted to help people. And, like I've needed help plenty of times in my life. So to do the work that I do, I feel like not obligated, but it's just like a fair balance of the universe. It's like, yeah,
Sure.
if I can do everything I can want to do off the clock, take me and use me how you need to, in a sense.
Let me ask you something. So, I think this is so funny. I think about these things all the time, actually, like about children. And like this podcast too, like I want to inspire people, like from like kids from the hood, like that they can do whatever they want to do, regardless of where they came from.
Yeah.
Right? Because we all, like, I come from nothing, for example. And like there's other people who also like had to overcome a lot of struggles in order to do what they do. Anyway, my question is, like, this is so relevant. I love that. So if there's, let's say, like a 10-year-old, 9-year-old, 10-year-old, and they come from like a real rough home where there's like, like their parents or mothers, like,
there's some fucked up people out
like,
there, yeah.
really horrible. I can only imagine, right? Do they sometimes actually, or maybe oftentimes say, I would rather stay with her than go somewhere else?
That's the unique part about it, right? Because it seems like in those situations that I've seen, unfortunately, it's like the children who love their most toxic parent, those most toxic parents don't have shit. Like, and that's the bad part. But those kids are like, I want to go where they're going.
Because that's
because
their
they
parents.
It's not even the parent part. It's that whatever they're projecting just seems more fun than what's going on. Because where they're at is still, like, you got to realize a lot of parents, right, raise their kids in their parents' homes.
Oh.
Right? So the kids sometimes
Or
want to break from
grandparents.
grandma's house. And they think that mommy's out living their life, and mommy's not doing shit. Mommy's downstairs somewhere on the couch. But it feels different.
So they feel freedom that they can do whatever the fuck they want. They're going to go and play or like.
That's what they think in their mind, But that's the kind of the narrative and the false expectation built by that parent, because that parent is like always on that journey themselves, because that parent never grew up.
Wow, that's a great point. I never thought about it this way. Yeah, they never grew up. And what about little kids, like 3, 4? Like, I can't even imagine how like devastating it must be for like some, to see those little kids who like don't even know what's going on, right?
Well,
do they?
So that is the unique balance, right? Because I have kids that were born into foster care, so that means like straight out of the hospital. They were placed in a relative's home or, a different placement. But what we understand in clinical value is that the younger children experience just as much trauma.
For sure.
They just have the least capabilities of expressing it. So sometimes their behaviors are actually more volatile.
Interesting.
And even though they didn't experience all of the chaos that the others observed, they still deal with the same ramifications. So it's like, it's really unique how each individual absorbs trauma based upon the layers of it. Because the oldest cat obviously has the most, unless they were sent away, which I have different storylines.
I'm sure you have like a million stories.
Yeah, I've dealt with families who have been on national news, because of the situations that they've been in, and it's like, wow, my little girl, luckily she ran away and got help. Because otherwise she would have been suffering somewhere.
Foster homes kind of like freak me out though too. Like, have you ever seen that show Atlanta?
I love Atlanta.
Do you remember that episode with like those this little?
That was season 3.
Little
I want to
kid.
say
That's
the slap.
Where he goes into the like lesbian homes of those like liberal women who like turn their kids into slaves. They don't even feed them real chicken.
I mean, that's the bad part, is that there are a few foster parents who are not adequate.
So why would they want to be fostered? Because they get money from the government?
That part. Like, I've literally seen a lady who was a daycare provider fake help a mom who was struggling, right? Called ACS on the mom, got her kids as the foster kids, right? Just to get money. I mean, it was helping both parties, right? Technically, because she did need help.
Okay, she did that wasn't a lie. Okay.
So she did need help, but this lady wasn't. Her integrity level was different because she wasn't treating the kids as good, and she's a fucking daycare provider.
That's gross.
So yeah, we had to remove kids from her home, and that was good. You know, that we were able to pay attention.
Listen, I have a little surprise for you.
Oh wow, wow, wow!
We're gonna sweeten this conversation a little bit to change the gears. We talked a lot about my flurries. I didn't forget.
Okay, look at you.
So we have Oreo. And M&M's.
We definitely getting sponsors off of this one, right? They pay Mickey D's, please, right? That's what they used to say, Mickey D's, please.
Wait, which one do you want? Oh, you can have both, honestly. We should try both. Can I try yours too?
Yeah. Let's mix and match. I was about to say mix it up. This is so frozen. When did this get delivered?
No, because I got it before this interview, and then we have to put it in the freezer.
Oh, you actually... Wow. Nostalgia. Fire. Yeah, I have not had one of these in years, but...
Oh, my God. Frozen M&M's. Can you see that?
So that goes back to my high school days, because we used to have that in the vending machine. I was like, in Poland, they might not do that. Just room temperature candy, right?
Barely any vending machines growing up. What do you mean? No, we had like a Pepsi, Coke,
no
Coca-Cola.
Beer? Did y'all have beer vending machines?
In high school, no.
Well, Germans, I heard they had them.
In high school?
I don't know about in school, but accessible for 14-year-olds.
Which one is your favorite, though?
So, I'm about to try this M&M. And I got it. You know what I just did? I never did my whole life. I had mint chocolate chip.
You didn't like that?
I was chewing gum. So I made myself have mint chocolate chip for the first time. I've never done that before. I was like, something's weird going on. But now I realize it's not that bad. I've been avoiding that my whole life.
You know what it is good for? Like after a big meal, when you have like a piece of mint chocolate, that's when it works for me at least. That's like the only time I would have. Sometimes in restaurants they give it to you. But
no, I was about to say you eat at some really nice restaurants because I'm like I haven't seen that in forever. I'm like,
I haven't seen that in forever. Like honestly, I do not go out like at all. I was just talking about it too. Like why do I live in Seoul? Like.
Why do I live? That's a movie in itself. Why do I live in Soho?
That sounds like that. I sound like such
That's a monologue. No. That's a monologue. Why do I live in Soho?
It's so
the
exhausting.
Sidewalks, they never have rats here.
And it's so busy with tourists. I can't stand it. Wow, I sound like a fucking brat. These just made me realize
These are like, and that's the cool part because you're not from America, so that adds another layer to it. You're like, wait.
Of ridiculousness.
It's like, this is a good sketch comedy bit. Why do I live in Soho? Like what's that telenova type shit, but Polish and American. What else don't you like? Because I hate mayonnaise.
Mayonnaise?
I hate it. It's like the only thing.
What do I hate? Herring, I guess.
The fish? Or is that a bird? I always get them confused.
It's a fish.
I'm like,
it's a fish. What do I like in terms of food or in general? Do I hate?
Both.
I want to say white people.
Okay, like high five. But like, and I'm mixed, so it's like like.
I mean,
we all understand.
Boss of Jew in me. But I wanted to ask you too about your contribution to the society because your Facebook page says that you're an active agent of positive change and that you use your amateur skills and passions to help and entertain and that you use your hands, head, and heart to be a blessing. And, you kind of answer that. Like, your work, your daily fucking retrieve is that. Like, every single day you help. Like,
I do my best. I don't always hit the mark the way I want to, but it's funny that I haven't read any of that in a long time, so it's beautiful that you brought that back to me because many moons ago, shout out to my good friend Rio Tazwell.
Hi, Rio Tazwell.
He's a great dude on the Hill in D.C. His wife, they just had 2 kids. Well, their second child recently, but either way, I love them. one time in college, he was telling us, he was like, yo, we're going to go get Reiki massages.
What's that?
Right? Like, that's what I was like, what is that?
Kinky.
It sounds crazy, right? And there was this, like, mystical house in our college town. It was called the Ivy Lane House. And it was, like, real world. Like, in our mind, it was, like, the magical real world. It's like, we never know what's going on there, but something cool's happening.
Wow.
So we get there. There's no massages going on. We get initiated in Reiki.
Wow. That's special.
Right. So the hands helping, head, heart, hands helping thing came from that night. It was like a mantra that came to me in that initiation process. So I don't lie about believing in magic. Because, like, miracles happen every day.
I believe in magic. What you mean?
Yeah, miracles happen every day. And it's like you could be a messenger for somebody else. Opposite, right? They could be a messenger for you. And you never know what act of kindness is going to happen, like, that you get to witness or be a part of, you know? So,
I love that.
Yeah, thank you.
Well, one last question. What would you advise the youngins, like the young kids or people, young people who are unsure of what their thing is, since you have so many passions, and that's the biggest blessing I think that one can have. So what would you tell someone who's like says, oh, I'm not interested in anything, nothing interests me?
That's scary. That's scary. And I work with people who display this like level of apathy, and they don't know how to express their passion, or they haven't connected with it yet, or they don't know what it is. But the one thing I would tell anybody is go outside more, read more.
I love that.
And find that 1 minute you need to start something new. No matter if that's picking up a guitar, writing that journal entry, drawing that sketch.
It starts with 1 minute, guys.
Just 1 minute. And I used to tell one of my friends in college this for many moons. And one day he had a dream that he woke up and he wrote it out. And it was one of the most amazing scripts I ever read. And he never did anything with it. But I was like, yo, bro, look at what you did, because that one time you committed to writing.
Wow. I'm going to send you a couple of short stories that I've written based on my dreams. Or like, I just literally dreamt the whole story out. Can you believe that? Yes, you can.
No, I'm excited because I don't dream enough. I was like, I'm always up. Like, that's the weird part. It's like I go to sleep early and wake up early, and go to sleep late and wake up early.
Yeah, me too. Always early.
Yeah, it's like.
Okay, one last question.
Last, possibly.
What's my name?
Dutchess.
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
Mm-hmm.
This was delightful.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. So you gotta teach me happy birthday in Polish, because we didn't even talk about that. That's crazy.
Well, you can say 100 lat, which means 100 years.
100 lat.
Very good. Or you can say wszystkiego najlepszego.
Wszystkiego najlepszego? Wszystkiego, I remember that part. Is wszystkiego?
Lepszego.
Lepszego.
Very good. Great pronunciation.
One more time.
Wszystkiego
najlepszego.
najlepszego. Wonderful. Yeah. Look at your accent.
Thank you.
Okay, you can go to Poland. You get many bitches. Looking the way
says
you do.
the Duchess.